Welcome back. This is our fourth video in the Legends of Rakasa video instruction manual series. Hopefully by now you've reviewed the game components video, the Rockman video, and the chapter 1 video. This should give you a general idea of how the game's played and, the sequence of player turn. Now, there are a few things we'll explain, but this game is really just to give you a complete time-lapse look of how the game is played. This is Chapter 2. We've pulled out our Chapter 2 card. There's a few differences between this setup and our previous setup for Chapter 1. So, a few components we've added. First, we have our second set of the market items. So these are market tools. Once again, we've stacked them in two piles here. We have the tools and the potion items, which what you can see is under this we have our other tools. So this is just because of limited space. If you're playing on a bigger table, you could stack those out in individual piles. The other thing, we have an Rakasa here, and we've now brought out our boost tokens. These are going to be used in this turn. Michael will get into that in a bit with some of the story why we have that guy out here. Something else, we've now flipped our day-night tracker to the nighttime. We, in Chapter 1, played to 5 p.m., and so now we're going to continue on in the evening. Temporarily, we have brought our our equipment bank up to the market. In this particular chapter at the start, we're going to need to be able to purchase things from this, so this is only temporary. As we move through, we'll move those down so we don't confuse what's in the market and what's in the bank. The last thing we have here is this purple set of road equipment. So this is a separate set, not what the sets like we would use. This is used to be shuffled into the road, so then on this turn we'll be able to draw out some new equipment and be able to craft more equipment. Lastly, for this purpose, we've brought out the forest and ocean. As in this turn, we may be hunting in those lands. So I will turn it over to Michael to give us a background on our adventure here.
All right, so this chapter, the chief has a special request for the members of his hunting party. And there is a mutant rabid Rakasa in the road, and it's eating the other Rakasas, scaring off villagers, consuming other creatures, and if it isn't stopped, it's going to affect the evolution, natural selection of the Rakasas. And Rakasa, that process is very quick, and so at the end of this chapter, if he isn't stopped, it will in some way affect the difficulty of Rakasas in the future, which isn't a horrible thing. You could play through a game with boosted Rakasas. Something interesting is Kalinchis will have a more important use if you do come into that situation to lure those big monsters away. Okay, so our goal is by sunrise, we have to find and kill it, and that's because at 9 p.m., it's nocturnal. At 9 p.m. is when it comes out and begins consuming other creatures. It's going to be receiving a boost every hour after 9 p.m. So at 10, 11, 12, we'll be flipping over boosts. They're random. They all have the sapphire back, so we can't tell which one's which. We'll flip them, add it to him. He'll grow, or she, and we will have to defeat this creature. It's going to be picking up those boosts starting at 10. We have until sunrise to beat it, and we cannot even start looking for it until we get to 9 p.m. because it's not out. So we have from 6 till 9 p.m. to kind of get ourselves ready. That's like our prep time. And then 9 p.m. we have to decide, okay, we start looking for this. Who's going to look for it? The way we look for it is we have to solve a Rockman puzzle. A Rockman puzzle is used to determine if we find it and how long it takes. We'll go ahead and set up that Rockman puzzle, get it ready. The way you set up for this one is it's going to be one tile for every team playing. We are playing cooperatively this round in this chapter, so we're going to be playing as one team, so we get one tile. And then for every player in your group, you're going to roll a dice, and on a roll of 1 or 2, you add 1 tile. On a roll of 3 or 4, you're going to add 2 tiles, and on a roll of 5 or 6, you're going to add 3 tiles. So Dave's going to go ahead and roll and see what. Okay, he rolled a 4, so we're going to be adding 2 tiles to our puzzle for David, and I roll a 1. So we're gonna have a very easy. We got very fortunate, a very easy puzzle. This could go up pretty crazy on how big the puzzle gets. In this case, extremely fortunate. Okay, so we've got that set. Pasta Picasso's got his boost. The other thing is we're going to be starting now, and before we begin, there's two things in this chapter 2 in the instruction manual. Notice that there's two types of mechanics that are explained. We're just going to explain real quick because it's just very, very simple. We play with the market from this point on in the introductory chapters. Chapter 1 we didn't really. Chapter 2 we have it here. You'll find players don't, because there's such a rush, a lot of times players don't go back to the market to get stuff. You have to be in the village to trade with the market. So once people leave, generally it's such a mad rush to upgrade, prepare ourselves that people don't. But you can go back and you can buy items from the market. In the instruction manual, there's a detailed description of each type of item, and you'll see them used throughout the videos. But you can refer to the instruction manual to get a breakdown of what those items are and how they're used in Chapter 2's description of the market items. The other thing used starting now, and they'll show up throughout the game, are the boost tokens. And all they do is they boost stats. We explain that in the components. There's an image that relates to speed, power, defense, and they boost different amounts. And you'll see those used now. Other than that, there aren't any new mechanics really in Chapter 2. And so we are just going to play through this. We'll stop. It's going to be time lapse, so you're just going to see real quick the flow of things. And we'll pause just at 9 o'clock to kind of explain what's happening. 10 o'clock, we'll pause again just to show the flipping of the boost and how that works. And then it's going to go until either it has all the boost, and then we're going to say, holy good gracious, this thing is huge. Or we'll pause when we start fighting it to kind of show how we beat the thing. And that is what we have in front of us now. We're going to go ahead and start. At the end of Chapter 1, we completed our quest to get 4 spoils and qualify to be part of the Chief's hunting party. We have no gear in front of us, and so as a new hunter in the Chief's hunting party, we have to get ourselves ready to go fight. And the way we do that is during this unique time, the equipment, all of the equipment bank is in the market. We can buy anything. We have our spoils. They have a Doru value on them of a total of 300 Doru. You can spend all that if you want, or you could spend part of it and save some of the bones to upgrade your equipment. But after this preliminary buying, upgrading phase passes, whatever you don't use out of your spoils will be discarded. So use it all, upgrade, get your equipment ready, and then you can go ahead and start the battling and stuff. Start your rounds or your turns. So I've got 300 here. With these creatures, I'm going to just use these 300 to buy...
That's 200.
Or 200. I've got 200. Yes, 200. The 1-star gear is 50 each. I'm going to just get one of each piece of 1-star gear for 200. So that's 50, 100, 150, 200. So I'm going to sell these 3, get that. I'm going to take the 3 bones from the Apostle Bukasa, and I'm going to upgrade 2 pieces of equipment on my 1-star gear. So my weapon is 1 bone. My sternum is 2, so I'm going to be using the bones from this to upgrade the equipment. And I think David did similar.
I went a similar route, but instead I spent my 2 2-star monsters, which cost 200, to buy the full set of equipment. That left me with my Kalinchi and my Perlarilu, which both have 1 bone and both cost 50 Doru. So I used 1 bone to craft up my weapon, and I used the other one's 50 Doru to buy a market item. This is hopefully going to help me kind of protect myself against some dangers out there. Now, a key thing about Chapter 2 is make sure that the Apostle Bukasas do not get shuffled in. Remember, our rabbit Apostle Bukasa here is eating away at Apostle Bukasa, so they don't exist in this game type. Temporarily. So just that's a key thing to remember. And then once you have your equipment and your other cards and spoils shuffled back into the road, you'll be ready to start.
So we finished our little preliminary buying, upgrading. David's shuffling in the road monsters. other than the Apostle Casa, back into the road. Our upgraded equipment, the equipment we didn't buy, 1-star gear, all of this stuff is taken out of the game. It won't be in Chapter 1. As we upgrade these brown pieces, they leave the game. If we pick up purple and upgrade those, they'll just go back into the road. Okay. One last thing. At the end of Chapter 1, I came back really early, and I had 4 hours. And so I could, at the end of Chapter 1, the chief gives you a gift for every 2 hours you get back before sundown. And so I've got 2 gifts coming to me since I got back 4 hours earlier. How that works is you roll your dice. I'm going to get to do this twice. And depending on what the number is, you get some items. And if you forget which one's which, you can always refer to the end of Chapter 1. At the end of Chapter 1, it shows the breakdown of the dice roll and what you get for each one. And so if you look at the back of Chapter 1, into Chapter 1, the Chief's gift. And so I'm going to go ahead and roll twice and see what I get. Okay, I rolled a 3. That means I get a Mercury. And my other gift from the Chief is a 6. I get a camouflage tarp. Very cool. Okay, so I'm going to start this this chapter now with these 2 gifts from the Chief. Okay, and I think we are set now. Let's see, we'll just keep this dice over here. We're going to need 2 to solve our puzzle. We'll get to that at 9. And from this point on, we're just going to be playing up until 9 p.m. At 9 p.m., we'll pause and talk about kind of where we're at. So we're going to go ahead and get going.
You can start.
And
We're not going to roll since we're playing cooperatively. I'm just going to let Michael start.
I appreciate it.
He tracks time and sees here.
Okay, so that is that. We are going to begin. Okay, so it is now 9 p.m. We can start looking for the Apostle Casa starting this round of turns. With cooperative play, or you just among your team, if you're playing, 2 versus 2 or whatever, generally players kind of decide, okay, who's going to be our warrior and go kill this thing while the other person, does the puzzle. In this case, it's kind of, we've got such a small stack there that if we wanted to, we could risk not doing it. But each tile, that pretty much represents a turn if it's one person solving it. So, and if you wait, that means there's going to be 4. If there's 3 turns, and you get 3 boost stacks. So on my turn, I might go ahead and start unlocking the puzzle, and then if it doesn't get boosted too crazy, then maybe I'll go get some gear too. In the meantime, I think I'll let David be our warrior. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and give David this because I won't be using that camouflage tarp if I'm doing the puzzle, and I generally like doing the puzzles. So my turn's going to begin now, and I'm going to go ahead and do the puzzle.
And we're going to continue on the video.
Yes, and so at 10 on our next turn, we'll stop again, and we will show what happens with the boost. All right, we are now at 10 o'clock, and it gets its first boost, so we're going to take one of these stacks and flip it. It's getting 3 defense added to it. It's getting 1 and 2 speed added to it. So now it's got
defensive.
7 speed, 6 power, and 8 defense. All right. So I have determined I'm going to swap these, and we will continue on with the video. The next time we stop, we'll stop when we either fill up the boost tokens, which would be very unfortunate, or we will stop when we begin to fight the thing. Okay, so I have reached the end of our puzzle. So we have located this Opasabukasa. Rockman tiles can be set aside. We are now free to fight this whenever we want, but it still picks up its boost. And so we've decided David's going to be our warrior and fight it. I was the tracker. I found it. It's now ready to be battled whenever David's ready. I might hunt on the road or do a little something if he doesn't come over and fight it right away, just to get some other stuff, maybe to help boost him or maybe to craft my own equipment or whatever. So it's now David's turn. All right, so it's now 2 a.m. I am. Let me see.
Just go.
No. Okay, so I'm going to move to the village, and I have some gear here, right? And I'm going to, I've got 50, 50, and 150. So I will sell this for 250 to the market. We'll need a sell pile here, 250. So I've got 250 to use. I'm going to go ahead and grab an item. That's one item.
Okay, so since Michael's in the village, I can go ahead and take my turn. So I'm going to go ahead and try to battle the Opasabukasa. So,
just so you guys know, I bought a isopropanol and a grappling hook. And I'm going to use my grappling hook to go back out to the road, and I'm going to give David the isopropanol that I bought.
Okay, so I have 5 speed. He definitely has more speed. We tie on speed originally from the Opasabukasa's regular speed, but now he has plus... That's like 5 more, 10, and that's 4 more, so 14 speed. So he's definitely going to hit first, but that's okay. I went defensive with the notion that he may go speed and I wouldn't outspeed him, so speed doesn't even matter for me. I do have quite a bit of defense, so hopefully we can resolve this potentially. So my gear, I have 4 speed, 4 defense, and 9 defense, so... Let's hope that's enough. So that's 17 defense. And then I have guard. Obviously, since he's faster, I'll use guard. I upgraded to a 3-star weapon. So now this is only used for guard, but it gives me plus 20 defense. So overall, I have 37 defense. So let's look at his power. He has 6 power. 9 power. He has 12 power. That's painful. So 12 power. With my defense, I can survive 3 hits from him. I have 37 defense. He has 36 if 3 hits. So the question now that remains is, can I kill him?
This is 12.
So he has 5.
17.
He has... That's 10 right there. So that's 10, and then 3, 6, 7. He has 17 defense. So he'll hit me for 12. I'll guard. He'll hit me for 12. I'll hit him 6. So I myself like to do this. So I'll take that 6 down. He'll hit me another 12. I'm going to survive. I'll hit him another 6. So...
Take off all the boost defense.
All of these tokens are now down. He will survive and hit me a 3rd time for 36. I'll survive with 1 point. Right?
Yep, because you have 37 defense.
And so I'll hit him another 6. He has 5 remaining, and just out of pure spite, I'm going to throw in the isopropanol.
Overkill.
For an overkill of 1 point.
So he didn't need the isopropanol, but there is a chance if he didn't have the right stats or whatever, it would have been useful. Actually, in David's case, with boosting his defense, it may have been better for me to buy defense stuff to put his defense up even more, because that may give him an opportunity to get an extra hit in. But it's up to you the strategy you choose and stuff. So that's chapter 2. We ended at 2. Again, you want to pay attention to what time you end at the end of chapter 2, because that will affect how chapter 3 starts. And so we're going to make note that as a group we ended at 2 a.m. with 4 hours to spare. So at the beginning of our next chapter, we're going to remember we have 4 hours that we counted towards us when we start chapter 3. Will have a different effect on us. Also, at the end of chapter 2, the chief gives you the chief's blessing. So if your hunting party was successful, you get to pick 3 random stat boost tokens. And so you're just going to flip those down, face down. You draw 3, and those are the 3 that your party gets for fighting in the future. And those have to be used up by the chapter 5. So this is chapter 2. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for chapter 3, 4, and 5 and our expanding adventures.